Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Taco Imposters for Wednesday, November 8th, 2023. Maybe I should make the next episode like this episode should be after I make my tests at, or I go and talk to the person, I don't know, the photographer at the young adults thing tonight. Maybe I'll add like a little addendum at the end. I'll add something at the end of this before I upload it to tell you whether what happened or not. Yeah, a little blurb something. Let me just make that a thing. Okay, Google. Set a reminder for now. Nope. Set a reminder for 10:30 tonight. Add to the podcast. Thank you. Change it. Oh no, change it. Nah. Open tasks and see. Anyway, so yeah, I'll do that tonight too. But like, yeah. God, I was just thinking, or I was just talking to someone. The girl who left from Young Adults went to go do stuff with the camera. I say stuff with the camera because she can. Obviously, she has her like, I will not do this, whatever called. She's she's not gonna do that kind of stuff with the camera, but she'll do almost anything else with the camera. So, want to capture it some way, we'll do it. Anyway, or she'll do it. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. So, and I'm like, oh, and I told her, I'm like, oh, I should get myself. I was going to say get my ass in gear, but I wasn't going to say that to her. Get myself in gear. Get in gear. Should get into gear. And she was like, oh yeah, on what? Your 360 virtual tours? And I'm like, yeah, my virtual tours, my documentary. Cause I'm like, here's the stupid thing about the documentary. The documentary is freaking basically done, except for the end part, which I can come up with after the fact, like after I've what do you call them? Interviewed the people that need to be in the documentary. But like, God, I want to get this done before I'm dead. Before somebody else that can help me is dead. Anybody else that can help me is dead. Or before I don't care. That's the other problem. There will be a point in my life where I'll be like, whatever, I don't care about this anymore. No, do it, because my documentary is just, I want it done. And what's it called? She was doing some documentaries. She's done a few things in documentaries. So, and then I want to make a film. I was thinking about it. Like I was reading her um about section on her website, and I was like, she's like, oh, I loved writing, and I won awards in French, and I've won this, and I've done that, and I've written for this, and I love writing. I'm like, oh, God, that's the one part I hate. I just hate that with a passion. Let me just do. I don't want to write. I don't want to sit and have to do it. And I thought to myself, I'd love to be a videographer because guess what? I don't want to direct anything either. I don't want to direct people. I just want to be told, here, do this, do that, set up this way, here we go, go, go. Whereas, like, stuff's like, oh, it's a lot of work talking to people. And then it's like, I was writing down, and I don't care for it. It's so dumb. I don't care. I don't want it. I don't need it in my life. I don't want it. It's ridiculous. It's like, oh, this is stupid. In my opinion, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. I don't like it. I don't like it. But whatever. What are you gonna do? It's got to be done. It's the kind of stuff where if you went to like a film school, they're telling you, oh, you got to do all this stuff. That stuff that seems useless. It's the same way as like if you went into a science, um, what do you call it? Degree, right? You in university, you'd have to like, or college, whatever. You'd have to figure out, or you'd have to do all the things that you think are useless. Even not even just science or like nursing, or there's a lot of fields where it's like nursing or a doctor, or like medical, or there's a lot of them, engineering, and there's a lot of them where it's like you'd have to do things that seem useless, but maybe in the long run are actually better. And maybe like that actual information is useless, but the way you got to that information, learning how to get to that information was actually good. I don't know, right? Like was useful or will be useful. You know, I don't know what I was wondering about. Check here. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so What are they gonna say? Yeah, so. Oh man, I was like, I gotta get myself in gear to do the damn thing. Although I did say to her, I need funding. I need to figure out how to get the money because like that would be a pretty important thing to find how to get money to do so. Because that's the thing. I thought to myself, I'm like, it can't be that expensive. Then I realized, oh no, it's probably gonna be like ridiculous. It's probably gonna be stupid expensive. You know what I mean? Like it's probably gonna be that kind of expensive where it's like, oh wow, I thought I could get it, get away with X amount of money. No, it's gonna cost me like this other X amount of money, which is like exponentially more expensive than. What's the definition of exponentially? Let me see. Definition of exponentially. Definition of exponentially. No, no. Oh yeah, there could be that too, where it could be an exponential. I'm saying like it's just uh, significantly more expensive than I thought it was going to be, and then it could be exponential because it could be like it was like Mr. Beast said he wanted it to be like a 1 point. It was he at one point he was like I estimated hit my Squid Game to be $2 million, and it ended up being 4.5 or something, 4.4.5 million, 4.25 or something. And he's like, I started with like a million. I was like, oh gosh, it's gonna be like 2 million, and then like a million and a half. Oh, it's gonna be 3 million and that kind of stuff. I don't know how you get a YouTube video to be that expensive, but okay, yeah, sure. What are they gonna say? Yeah, so it's gonna be probably stupid expensive in comparison to what I thought it was gonna be. You know what I mean? Like just oh wow, that's incredible. That is stupidly, incredibly expensive. You know what I mean? At least in my opinion, that's what I feel like could happen. Oh, I know it's gonna be hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know that for a fact. I just don't know. And that's the thing. I was like, oh, I can make a. If you know how to get that kind of money, please tell me, because I'd love to. I looked up the. It's like the Cavco tax credit or something. You get a tax credit if you use, basically, if you use Canadian people. Canada will give you a tax credit. Canadian, if it's like something like 75% produced in Canada with Canadian crew, you can get like a tax credit for it, so you're paying nothing in taxes. Anyway, what are they gonna say? Yeah. So what were they gonna say? Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, money. I could do like a crowdfunding. I never thought of crowdfunding. I'm like, no, I did think of crowdfunding. The problem was, I didn't have enough people to set it up in such a way that. Sorry. Yeah. But I don't have the people where I can find 100 people at $10,000. Who are willing to spend 10, 15, $20,000, or people who are willing to spend like $250,000 on it and be like, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna back that. It'd be great. No, no, which is like annoying. It's annoying, but it's also like, well, you're not that prevalent of a person. A and B, you're not that like I was gonna say charming or charismatic to like convince people. You're not good to convince people. Hey, here's a great idea. Let's do that now. I wonder how much something like Pat Contreras. I know he only co-produced it. He didn't actually like probably have to find the money. Because that's the thing. Producers are a thing like producer are either the guy who actually produces the movie, like director and producer, like kind of coexist together, or they're the people who find the money. And I don't think he necessarily found lots of money. He could have. He could have, but I don't know. Anyway, like what was his documentary? How much did his documentary cost? I wonder. Um, I know the cheapest movie ever was like $500 or something. I don't know if that count if that takes into consideration the like crew cost, paying people. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know what documentaries. Don't ask me. That's whatever. But what they're gonna say? Yeah. So like I don't know what did his cost. His not for resale. Did it cost a lot? A little? Was it a reasonable price or was it like way more than I would expect it to be? Because like it's a bunch of people. And that's the thing. It's a bunch of people he knows. There's a few people in there he knows. He knows. He interviewed Ian. He interviewed Frank Cifaldi. He interviewed the guy. There's another guy. That guy. What am I gonna say? So it's all like it's not hard stuff, not expensive stuff. he may have cameras to do so. He may have people he knows. That's the thing. I don't know who he knows. Let's be honest. I no. He might know people who he might know people who can do this for him for dirt cheap, if not free. So that's my thing. I'm like, oh, then there's equipment to rent, and it's like there's equipment to rent and the people to pay, and then the licensing for things like stock footage and of like video games and stuff, and then have setting someone down and saying, okay, you're going to now take footage for this thing and just do everything, and then you got to sit the people down who've won and say, hey, you're gonna you're gonna play the game. You're not necessarily gonna beat it, but you're gonna play the game, and then you gotta have all the merchandise, so you gotta have the 3 games. I have 2 of the 3 games. Third one is incredibly expensive. It's ridiculous how expensive the third one is. And then the fourth one doesn't really exist. They added it to like the four because they had it was kind of almost done for Sword Quest. Cause I'm talking about the Sword Quest games because that's what my documentary is about. Also, I'd like to know like because that's the thing. I have to find out like where it is. I have to go to certain places to find out because I'm trying to find out. The whole point of this documentary, okay, is finding out what happened to the Sword Quest. I want a highly produced answer. Yeah, I'm not gonna get a like 100% definitive answer, but like I'd like to know as much as I can. Like I want it to be the one thing where it's like this is as much information as we can ever find out about where the Sword Quest prizes ever went. So, but anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so the fourth game was like kind of made. It was like half made or something, or they made some of it and never actually finished it. And then on the 50th anniversary collection that Atari put out, they um they actually finished Sword Quest. So, or wait, Sword Quest. Is it Wind World, Earth World, Fire World, Water World, and Wind World or something, or like Earth, Wind, Fire, Water. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, whatever the fourth one was. I have Earth World and Fire. Yeah, I think. Anyway, pretty dang cool stuff. Anyway, my point, or the thing I'm trying to make here is like, well, it's going to cost you a lot of money, or more money than I'm expecting, because I'm like, yeah, I could pay like X amount. No, and will I get that back? Probably not. I'll probably lose my money, to be honest, because the same friend, she was like, oh, you could enter in a film contest, film festival contests, win some big money, win some prizes, and I'm like, yeah, hopefully. I don't know if it's gonna be that good to win prizes, but sure, sure. I think that's the plan. Because where else do you put these things? You can't just like say, theater. Would you like my random documentaries that nobody knows about, that nobody cares about? So, like, would you like the random film? Yeah, thing from someone you've never heard of, and about a topic that's not gonna be super crazy popular. Dumbass. So yeah. And again, it's another one of those things where I looked at her website and went, "But you're doing things with your life." It's the same way I said when the leader of the young adults left, and it was like, "But you're." I think the reason I'm so shook up, I'm so like distraught, is because what's the definition of distraught? Definition of distraught.
Here's the definition of distraught. Very worried and upset.
Yeah, yeah. Like distraught about my life is because like these people like her. She's doing something a little bit more than the other girl, but she's becoming a doctor, which is a little bit more important than capturing something on a camera. But I'm not gonna say that they're both. I'm not gonna say that she's inadequate. Like, oh, you're just an inadequate human being. No, but I'm just saying like I think the reason I'm distraught is all this was distraught with all this like they're going and doing stuff with their lives, and I'm sitting here still trying to figure out how to do a freaking how to get because what I'm trying to do now also is if you know how to get okay because what I'm trying to do here too is it's not just that because she started with 360 virtual tours like because I'm like get myself in gear and she's like oh with the 360 virtual tours I'm like yeah but there's that too but it was a documentary that I really want to get done but anyway the what's it called the what's it called the come on the what's it called so like the 360 virtual tours it's like somebody told me that you can do it on Unity in Unity. I'm like great that's free and when I was telling her about it she's like oh yeah great good find the free way to do it don't have to pay for something it's great the internet is amazing and I'm like yes it is it can be great and but the problem was with that was that I didn't even take into consideration well how am I going to get this on a website and so I've asked people around. Oh no, I have that over there. So, right? I've asked people around, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be much harder than you think." I'm like, "Oh no," or much harder than yeah, because they're telling me it based on like if you're gonna start make a website. I'm saying or trying to ask the question, yeah, but what if the website already exists and it's like a Wix or a Squarespace or a right? What am I supposed to do, right? What am I gonna, Like, oh no, no offense, but what am I gonna do? I don't know. So I've asked on two different Discords. No, sorry, two different subreddits. Unity and 360 cameras. So it's like, oh no. I hope it's easy, or I hope it's doable. May not be easy, but it's doable. I may have to go into the code of the like website and add like a bit of HTML to the bottom of it. Sure, I'll learn how to do that. I guess. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, right, it's gonna be harder than I thought, and I think I'm gonna have to like resort to using a paid website. Which she was like, don't or she kind of has the attitude like, don't crack down or don't crack, don't break down, don't give in. I'm like, lady, you know how to write C# code? And because I remember she explained to me like, I didn't say that to her, but I just added to like if I ever see her again with this whole like attitude like, lady, do you know how to write C# code? Yeah, I didn't think so. So, you know how to place C# code into an HTML? No, you didn't write your own website. I know that. I know for a fact you didn't write one. You did one of those website building tools. Template websites to make a website. Wix, Squarespace, one of those things. GoDaddy, HostGator, not HostGator. I don't know. They used to be a thing. They used to have funny commercials, HostGator, like really funny commercials. They did. They used to have really funny commercials. And then I haven't seen them ever again. I heard that they're really terrible for website hosting, and also that's the other thing too. There's website making, and then there's website hosting, and then there's domain selling websites. Okay, I guess so. I don't know. Maybe it's cheaper anyway. Yeah. So there might be three different like sorts of websites where you buy a domain, where you host your domain, and where you make your domain. Where you make a website, then where you host a website, then where you gotta get a domain. So I don't know. Anyway. Anyway, I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, I don't really care. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So personally, I don't know websites. So don't give me that like it's totally possible. Come on, because she has this like attitude for me towards like right to me where it's like I believe in you. It's like I don't believe in myself. So I mean I can take all the support I can get. At least if at least one person believes that I can do this, all the better. Like great. Yes, great. Why did I do that? Why did I don't know. Great. Thank you. Right? I need some support here because I don't feel like I could ever get it done. Because like I kind of know how to. Well, because that's the thing, right? I'm trying to think now. Like, if someone's going to tell me something like it's not as easy, it's not possible the way you want to do it, then what's the point here? Because I do have different websites that are like good, but they're all paid. All of them are paid, except for there's a few free ones, or there's a few free tiers in some of these where it's like, yeah, but they don't give you like anything basically. So you're gonna have to upgrade to the next. Although here's the thing: if you factor in that into your cost, if I'm gonna factor that into my cost of what the of the service, right? I'm gonna factor in that cost. Then yeah, you know, maybe I could. Maybe I could use one of those and just be like, yeah, you're paying for it, so what do I care? And you're paying for hosting it, so what do I care? Although then again, I have to look at the legal setup where it's like, am I? Wait, I'm confused because I don't know if legal who would own those photos at legal at that point. The person paying for them or the person who took them? I guess it depends because if you gave it to them, you've probably maybe even like unwritten contract of like, well, it's not your photos anymore because you've given it to them, kind of thing. That depends on royalties. I don't know about royalties, right? Cool. So yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah, I've looked at legal things and it's like some legal things are like, oh yeah, straightforward, or like, oh that makes sense. Like, oh, okay, like I didn't understand like know that at all, but that makes sense. Totally makes sense. But then there's the other ones where it's like, oh, there's all this process that I'd have to go through if I wanted to do this. Oh wow, that's like way more than I ever thought it would be. So I don't know. In my opinion, the legal is going to be another stupid challenge where it's like, we have to probably make a company. I don't know if she actually made a company or not. She says she has this her name media, so I don't know. I don't know if that's like a registered company, LLC, incorporated, LTD, whatever, whatever. But yeah, probably is. She's not stupid. She knows how that she wants that to be her thing. So forever, not forever, but for a while, for a long time. And I feel like he wants to be comfortable, not necessarily like super successful or rich. Just, oh, can I be comfortable with whatever I'm doing? Anyway, what was I gonna say? But yeah, I mean, huh? Let's copy that. Okay. Okay, so somebody explain to me web GL is from Unity. I know HTML is the website. Yes. Okay, so it looks like it is. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it looks like it's actually not going to be that impossibly hard to figure out. So, it looks like it's actually possible to do. I might have to have access to like adding an HTML to the thing, to the website. That's not what I wanted to do at all. When I press create account, it shows that page. Okay. Sorry, it's a fine now. product. It's the final product? So yeah. Okay, so it looks like it may be possible actually, now that I think about it. But I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna work, but we're gonna figure it out, don't we? Anyway, so yeah. Look. I hope that can be done. Because I thought to myself, oh, I guess I could use those 360 virtual tour, whatever money I get from that, to make to fund that other project. So fair enough, I guess. So I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I feel like I could do that. Yeah. Although I told her I cold calling, and she's like, "Wait a sec, whoa, whoa, whoa. So you're saying that you don't know how to run, how to actually, you know, what's it called, produce for the client, you know? But you're cold calling people." And I'm like, "Yeah, you could just." How would I find the HTML from the WebGL build? Anyway, so now it looks like it's possible. It looks like it's possible. Not that it's going to be easy, but it's probably going to be possible. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, so. It's going to be annoying, but anyway. What was I going to say? Yeah, so. Looks like it's possible. And I'm like, yeah, well, kind of. I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm just going to have to figure out the little details to actually get one to run. And so, yeah. Because my problem right now is that that you make like a 3D sphere, right? And you're looking into the sphere, right? You're looking into the sphere, so you can look around the sphere. It was low quality when the one that is built into Unity, right? So somebody gave me a higher quality one. I can't get that higher quality one to run at all, properly at all. And I've done it multiple times, trying multiple ways to get it to work multiple different angles, and it just doesn't work. It's kind of stupid, in my opinion. Like what? And then when I went back and just decided to, I've done multiple things, so I'm trying to fix it. I've taken the same project and gotten rid of that sphere and put back the original sphere, and nothing. I've got it. Thank you for all the help. Right. So I did that, and I put back the original one, and it didn't work. Then I did a whole new project and put those two projects together. Oh, sorry. Put the original one into the project, and it doesn't work. And it's just dumb. So I'm sorry. It's just dumb now. It's like now nothing works. It's ridiculous, but whatever. What are you gonna do? It's like that's kind of stupid, but okay. And then I have to figure out how to put that onto a website. So I or someone would need access to the HTML. So I or someone else would need access to add the HTML to the website. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do. Anyway, so yeah, seems like it might be possible. If you know how to run any of that, please let me know, cause like Okay, cool. So it's like, okay, maybe it's my Amazon thing. I don't know. Phenomena. I don't know. So yeah, sorry. I'm just saying somebody's name. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah. So, or someone, I don't know, whoever's running the website probably, if they're not going to give me access, they just say, I'd have to tell them, well, here's a file that you would need to or here's the HTML code you need to put into your website. So, yeah, it seems okay. Seems like this is decent. Seems like it's possible. Don't know how possible, but it seems like it's possible. Can you do that on those website making websites? Can you do that on those website building websites like Wix slash Squarespace? I don't even know if that's possible. It probably is. Probably is. They probably allow that in like a certain tier where it's like, oh yeah, if you go to the next level, you can just have a full access to a website. Cause I'm like, oh, you have to add. Anyway, so come on. Square. No, he did. So yeah. iFrame. Okay, let me copy that one. Okay, so it's not gonna be as hard as I think. Cool. Cool. Seems possible. Seems possible. Anyway, so if you know how to do that, let me know, because I don't know the details about that. I love how we've taken Google. I don't use Google. I use DuckDuckGo. Not that I hate Google. It's just I just don't want Google to know everything. It's like Facebook, right? Even if they're, I was watching a video by Michael Fisher doing a review of the like new Meta Ray-Ban story glasses, and um, it was like he said at one point, like, yeah, well, there'll be some people who will be apprehensive to putting Facebook on their face, so it's fair enough. Like this, like I don't hate Google. I don't think Google's a terrible company that should rot in hell, but I'm just saying like you definitely wouldn't if I can use use Google as little as possible. I will, and DuckDuckGo's actually not that bad. So, but anyway, but what I'm saying is I just know nothing about websites. So yeah, what was I just saying? What was I just saying? Oh man, what was I just saying? Google, yeah. So we turned. No, what I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make here with Google is we've taken the word Google and we decided to say Google is now a verb for finding out information. You know? Oh. Oh. So yeah, we just made it into a verb for finding out information. Now we don't say I'm going to look this up. Let me look it up. No, let me Google that. Let me Google it with Google and Google. Now he's saying I might need to change your web server setup to allow the Unity file. Right. I would just hand the client the HTML code. And I'm sure someone like I don't know. I don't know. Because that's the thing. You could have dum dums running websites. Like, and what I mean by dum dums is people like me who know nothing about like how a website actually runs and would not necessarily know how to like add that. Like, oh, I don't even know if that's possible. They have no idea how to do that. Although they probably would look into that if. Oh, that's the thing. Who's responsible for that? That's a good question. Who's responsible at what end, right? Because who's responsible, right? Is it me who's responsible to tell them how to add it to their website, or is it them who's responsible to figure out how to get it on their website? I mean, though, that they could figure it out. That I let them figure it out. Come on, come on, come on. I mean, I would let them figure it out. Come on, let me reply to this. I mean, I'd let them figure it out. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's possible, actually. Not that it's a great thing or amazing, but it seems possible that I could do this. It's not. I mean, I'd let the client figure it out. So yeah, I mean, it looks fairly simple. I mean, like straightforward in the sense that you take your HTML file and you add it to your website. Now, how they have their website set up, I don't know, but I have no idea. But yeah. Hello, send. There you. So let's see what that document that he just sent me was. It's 3D, yes. So let's see what the document is. Oh boy. Um, yeah. I mean, it seems like it's not impossible. Maybe a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be, where it's just take the file and add it to a website. But yeah, like, okay, let me just add this to home screen. No, home screen. Damn it. Add to home screen. It doesn't seem too impossible. Although now I'm about to figure out because I don't think that one video that I watched is going to explain to me how to add multiple pictures. Oh, maybe it will actually, because he did add multiple pictures. So I hate people who don't tell you something and oh, the worst. The worst is when one of two things. It's put on a potato, and that's ridiculous, and it's 5 billion years old and out of date, and nobody cares, and it's like ridiculous, and you can't follow it because the thing doesn't exist anymore, or it's so out of date that you have to have a really old version of it, right? Um, then okay, right, then okay. The other one is when they don't tell you some crucial information, or they assume you already know this crucial information. It's like no, or when they say like they make it out to seem like it's going to be some like oh we've got the basics of the basics like we know like everything of everything and then just like well no you know don't know everything about everything, right? That's why I'm coming to a video that at least made it off to be that it was going to be um, the most basic of basics. The basics on how to getting started with, and then they like skip over things or they skim over things really quickly. Like whoa, 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 whoa. But what about this? What about that? And that I was telling my friend too, and about how I don't know. I'm not gonna go there. No, what is he? I don't even know what this guy's doing, so forget it. Yeah, I was telling my friend where I'd like to, because I was following some coding tutorials, right? And I was like, oh yeah, it's great. But then what happens when you want to ask a question and you leave it in the comments, but this is like a 5-year-old video and nobody gives a hoot and it's all terribly not out of date, but it's you have the problem of the guy never responding because like he doesn't care anymore. So yeah, I'm definitely not saying it's terrible, but that's the problem with the internet. So yeah, it's just annoying. I don't think it's bad. It's just annoying. Like that's the internet for you. Half the internet is half the internet is immediate. You can get your whatever stuff immediately, and you can talk to people instantly, and it's amazing. And the other half is like old, outdated information, or freaking billion years to do anything. It's like, oh my god, it's annoying. It really is annoying. Billion years out of date, things that are here from freaking 400 years ago, which is annoying. But so, oh, is it? Is it? I didn't know that. Let's check the posting. Go to the post. No, can I just go to? Damn you! I hate people like this. Fine, I have to find the actual posting again. Can I just go to the? Can I see the damn post? This is so stupid. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, yeah. So that's the problem with the internet. Yeah, I don't care for it. Nice. Okay, cool. Whatever, I'll figure it out later. But yeah, so that's done. So yeah, or it's really outdated information and you can't find it. And it takes freaking billion years to get any response from anybody, and it's like, well, we're not emails here anymore, right? Or BBS is where you have to be on exactly at that exact right moment to find, or like you have to be on it, on actively on said in your emails or on your emails or in on your BBS, right? Where it's like it's annoying. Where it's like, oh my gosh, it just takes forever to get any information, or it's all instant and it's amazing, and you get all your information real quick. It's all up to date and it's amazing. It's great. That's the thing with the internet. The difference with the internet is, oh, we can two things. Not that not that anybody's going to necessarily really do much with that information after the fact, but it's one of those. But they are gonna do that whole cool. No. Anyway, so what was I saying? But you could add things to it. You could amendments and add things and change things to like let's say an article or something. Not that everyone's gonna read it, but yeah. And then there's a whole like oh, um that whole I don't make games. I use Unity to make 360 virtual tours. So yeah, it's the most annoying thing ever. It is so damn annoying. It's ridiculously dumb in my opinion. But whatever. What are you gonna do, right? That's the problem with the internet. It's either that's what happens. It's like halfway. So yeah, you can add it to or change things or add things or make that video like oh, and then you can take the video that you have on YouTube and say that video is now out of date. Click the link in the description for the actual. Has actual like here's the up to date one. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like and that's the problem. So it's either okay, instant and immediate and amazing and fantastic and it works and you get all the information you ever needed right here on your fingertips, which is very good. Which is like I don't know. I want to say that's like 50 to 75% of the internet, which is great, which is amazing. But then that other section is like, and it depends on what you're also looking for too, because if you're looking for like something very specific, sometimes you'll get either really old and outdated information about something, or just no information, or just like very little information. It's like oh, or like one thing that worked way back then, but nobody cares about the thing anymore, so or nobody kept up with the thing anymore, so they don't, or that's not how they like you find information about it. So you're like oh, I don't have any clients yet though. Haven't mastered it and don't. What was I gonna say? Haven't mastered it and don't have any clients yet. So anyway, so yeah, and because who was it who was making the point? Oh, it was Brian Brushwood was talking to Jason Murphy while they were waiting for something on one of the episodes of Modern Rogue, and he was talking about how like you find it like you notice that because he was saying to Jason like Brian was saying to Jason like do you notice that how um 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 yeah he's like do you ever notice that all those things all those like specific forums and places to talk about something they're all dead. You can't find them anymore. There's that, and then it's been replaced by YouTube. It's been replaced by Reddit, basically. Reddit, basically. Like Google chat rooms. There was like a Google Forms chat rooms section at one point. Oh, those are cool. Those are cool. So yeah, yeah. And then Linus was making a point where on the WAN show where Sebastian Linus was making a the point on the WAN show. It's getting so much harder to find searches on Google. It is. It's weird. It's bizarrely like, what did they like throw their old like when you're trying to find an old thing about something? It's like can you throw it away? Because like who was it? CNET was deciding. Oh yeah, CNET decided. Oh, we're gonna delete quote unquote in air quotes delete our old posts to be more relevant and up to date for the SEO. I'm like, no. Linus like, no, that's not how that works at all. And Luke was like, yeah, no, that's not how that works at all. I'm sorry, but anyway. Anyway, so anyway, so it's like yeah, and so they exist. No, they exist. And my brother always weighs the arguments of like, well, you know, so yeah, so I've heard. So yeah, like they're gone. Like my brother weighs always like how many people are in a either subreddit, Discord, or because he does have a point where he's saying or a forum where it's like he does have a point where if there's too many people, you will get lost in the shuffle and you will never get your question answered ever. But I'm like, no, that's stupid. You shouldn't not go on one just because of that. That should not be the reason. But anyway, you don't go on a you don't join a subreddit, Discord, or forum. Anyway, but yeah, because I've got my questions answered eventually on these forums that either seem stupidly old, like they're never going to talk about it. Like there's an Ocarina forum I was on once. Yeah. No, don't reply to myself. Sorry. So yeah, they're just gone. Also, finding those really old things aren't a thing anymore, or are much harder than. I know virtually nothing about websites, so I'll let the client worry about that. So yeah, I'm not saying it's terrible, but because like some of them, most of them are like really out of date posts that mean kind of nothing, you know. So so what are they gonna say? Yeah, so those things are like dead. It's much harder to find them. Not that they're like you're good, but what if you need some irrelevant? Because CNET was like, oh well, we'll keep it on. Basically, was like, well, if the archivers want to archive it, we'll archive it on an archival website. But if your archival people want to archive it, go for it. But we're not gonna really worry about it. It's like what? It was the same thing with Machinima. Machinima was like, hey, get your videos out now. Download your videos now off of Machinima. You know, you got whatever X amount of days. So, which is fair, I guess. It's like when a company, they don't have to worry about what happens with the stuff. Like they don't have to worry to sell it. They just say, hey, we're gonna basically chuck all this stuff in the trash. We don't care. Not that they want to, but a lot of times like we're ceasing to exist. You got a month to buy everything. We'd like to sell it because we'd like to make money, but we can't. Oh well, we're gonna chuck it in the bin. So better get here as soon as you can. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like I used to find them all the time. These random as like just the wackest like random forum somewhere. A post from like 2004 or like 98 or like 2000 or 2001 or 2 or something. It's like, oh, wow, okay, that's incredible. But yeah, they're kind of like it's a dead thing. Nobody really uses forums anymore because Reddit exists. Reddit has become the internet forum. They say the front page is the internet, but it's really the internet's forum in my opinion. Like it's become the forums of that's the only where you go. And now Discord is becoming even more. It's like Discord is the like more instant version of it, but you'll get more experts chime in. Because I've thought about it like this: everybody thinks they have to chime in on Discord, even if they don't know anything about what's happening. Sometimes people think they have to be chimed in, or completely get lost. Like, ignore this guy because he's an idiot or whatever, or just ignore him. Then where with Reddit, it feels more like you have to, or like you have to know what you're going to say if you're going to post something on Reddit. Like if you're going to like reply on Reddit, oh, whoa, whoa, you better like know what you're going to say. So yeah, so you have to know. Like I'm not going to just post and say some stupid comment. I have to actually know what I'm saying. Well, you're an idiot and blah blah blah. Like leave. Don't ever talk about this stuff, or unless it's important. Like you can't talk about this here or whatever. Or you're a moderator and you want to tell me something important. You know. Otherwise, you should really know like what you're doing when you're going to post on Twitter, on Reddit. So yeah, so I think it's Dr. Mike who talks about the like know-it-all doctors, the people who think they know everything or have the answer to everything. Oh yeah, I know it all. Don't worry, don't worry. And it's like, no, stop talking like that. Never talk like it's some sort of, oh, I know that as a fact. Oh, I know. Oh yeah, yeah. Here we go. No, you know nothing of anything. So like that's a problem. Don't also on these kind of things come off and say like, oh, I know it all. Don't worry, whatever. Like, yep. So because they're the most annoying people. The chiming in and knowing nothing. The knowing nothing people. There are those definitely those knowing nothing people, and they like string you along, and then just like, do you know anything? Those are annoying, and they know nothing. But those people you can figure out pretty easily. Then there's the then there's the only knows so much, and then strings you along, and then you get into like a DM, and you're like, okay, yeah, and then you realize, oh wait, I know nothing of anything else. And at that point, you should really come clean and be like, hey, and I know nothing past this. I'm sorry. I don't know past that point. Sorry. That's one. But then there's people who string you along and just keep going, and like they have this like sick, twisted obsession with like they get pleasure out of what is it, a fetish? They get pleasure out of like stringing the person along and making them think that they know anything. And then there's people who know stuff, which can fall under the same think they know everything category, where it's like you think you know everything, but you know nothing. So stop saying it as if it's like fact, like oh yeah, I know how to do this, and here it's like no, it's stupid. Or don't talk if you don't know the easiest way for that person to get to that point. Because I was watching some of the old Rand shows where they were talking about when Linus and Luke did their Linux challenge, right? Month of Linux challenge, and um, they were talking about it has to be uh stupid simple. It has to be um counterintuitive. It has to be intuitive. It has to be just stupid simple. It has to be just plug and play simple to use Linux, or nobody will use it. Because he was making the point, Linus was making the point, if you have to touch the terminal once, even once, forget it. No one's doing it. Never. You're gonna get zero people, new people into this place. The people who don't want to do that, people who come from Windows and Mac who have never touched a terminal ever, and they've been using it for freaking 30 years. Freaking 30 years. They've been using computers for 40 years and are now just like. But then you get to the point of people arguing. Sorry. Then you get to people arguing like, yeah, well, if you used DOS back in the day, or you used DOS, or you used BASIC, you had to write everything out. It's like, yeah, but that was because that's how it worked, right? Once the GUIs came along, everybody stopped learning use how to write any commands down, which is true. That's 100% true. And then there's those people, because Pat Contry was interviewing Metal Jesus Rocks, Jason, I don't remember the name. I think I said this before, and he was talking about how, yeah, it's like how people don't have to know how a car works to get a driver's license. They don't know they can know how to use a car, but they don't need to know how it works. I think in England you still have to learn how it works. You need to know a basic. You need to have a basic understanding of the engine to pass your driving test. Apparently, from what I heard, I don't know if that's 100% true, but from what I heard. So, what were they gonna say? Yeah. So, personally, in my opinion, you don't need to know that stuff. So, they always make the point. You don't need to know how to use it, like how a computer works, or how to do certain things on a computer to use a computer anymore. And they were somebody was making the point on what's this thing, Instagram? No, on in the in the chat for that live that episode of the Went Show, and they were like, well, just get a freaking basically was get a headless, which has no GUI, no interface, Linux, and force yourself. It's like, yeah, no, that works if you're going to be working in IT, but for the vast majority of people, it's not how to use Linux. I'm sorry, it's not how to use Linux. And I was thinking about it this morning too. When I woke up, I was like, there's no perfect use case for it's still for 360 video. It's still a gimmick, or 360 anything, photos and videos. It's still a gimmick. It's still a very dumb gimmick. It is. It's a very terrible gimmick. And I'm not saying it's the worst, but tell me the use case for it. Can anybody tell me the use case for it? If you can tell me the use case for it, here you go. Other than virtual tours, which is very what's it called? Very client based, meaning it's a business thing for businesses. Other than that, right? There's no good practical like you know regular schmo Joe. What's he gonna It's a cool gimmick, but what's it for, right? There's no practical use for it that somebody would want to take. Okay, I think that people don't think, oh, this would work, or would consciously think, oh, this would work in 360 better than a regular photo. No, because I said to myself, oh yeah, one of the best, because I think one of the best social media platforms is Panora, which is based it's literally Instagram for 360. So 360 photos and videos. They're Instagram, Instagram for 360 photos and videos. And I thought that's really cool, and time lapses and such like that. But then I realized, yeah, but there's still a use case for 2D. And I'm like, yes, it is. Because taking a 360 and turning it into a two-dimensional, flat picture isn't the greatest thing ever. It's kind of weird and bizarre, and it doesn't work super well. It's a cool gimmick, but it's not that great. No, it's really not. And that's the thing, right? Right. Like I was thinking, like, because I was reading Ben Claremont's How to Make Money with a 360 Camera, and I was like, oh yeah, you can do weddings. Like, yeah, but you're not gonna do. Nobody's going to be like, oh, I'd like my wedding completely taken photos, because apparently his wedding was done that way. He took 360 videos and photos. They didn't turn out super perfect, but they were still decent. But they were good, from what I heard. Anyway, but nobody's going to be like, oh, I want 360. I want to make sure I want it 360. No, they're going to say, my photographer, can you also do 360? Or I'm also going to, on top of you, going to get a guy to get somebody to do 360. Because they're not going to say, oh, I want exclusively 360 photos on my, for my wedding or for my event. My mom thinks events want 360. It's like, no. What the point of for 360 is, they need it to be, it needs to be for 360 virtual tours. That's it. And these places, or and the clients that I'm trying to like, the people I'm cold calling, there have been people being like, well, we have Street View. It's like, yeah, but you don't have, which is fair. They have Google Street View, and to some of them, they're like, well, it's all we need really, which is fair enough. But you should really like implement it onto your website and have it like 360 virtual tour, and like it should be, every church should have it, every school should have it, any place, any place where you're trying to get members, trying to get people actively coming to, should have virtual tours. That's what I say. My brother tried to make the point of 360 virtual tours would ruin something like a museum, and I went, I don't think so. I don't think so, because maybe I'm an exception, but I see something like a museum, some random museum somewhere in the world, right? And I go, that's so cool. Now I want to go and see it. I want to go see it in person. I want to go see it in person. Whereas maybe my brother is the kind of person who would see that and go, okay, I've experienced it. I'm done. Because something like paintings, okay, sure, but like when it's something really cool that like I've seen it in front of my face, like I was gonna make like I'm going to the Canadian Remembrance Day ceremony in Ottawa, and then afterwards I'm going with a bunch of friends, and then afterwards we're going to the plan is, I don't know if my friend confirmed, because I don't have Facebook, and then my young adults are all on Facebook, and they don't respond to the and some of them aren't on Discord. Anyway, the Discord. Anyway, I don't know if we responded to whether he's like got information on whether we're going to go to the museum. I'm going to the museum whether you like it or not. You guys can have fun, figure it out. Better way for me to come back with you. But anyway, the point is, and so we're going to the War Museum after, the Canadian War Museum, and the Canadian War Museum has cool things like piece of the Berlin Wall. Like, it's so cool. It's actually really cool. I actually really like the War Museum. Of all the museums, I like the Science Museum, Aviation Museum, and War Museum. The Natural History Museum is okay, and then the Civilization Museum, I apparently have been when I was really young. But anyway, the problem with the other ones is, like, once you've seen it, like, not once, like, oh, we've seen it once, whatever. But, like, what I mean by that is, once you've seen it, you're like, okay, cool. Maybe every 5 years, maybe every 7 years. The War Museum, the Science Center, and the Aviation Museum, I go, like, every day. I'm not even joking. I go, like, every day. It takes about an hour and a half to get there. Maybe 2 hours. God, I go every day. It's insane. It's incredible. I go every day. For hours and hours and hours, I go every day. So, so yeah. I think I'm going to end now, so I'm not going to be here for the rest of my life. But if you know do, how to fix the spherical problem I'm having with the sphere that I'm using in Unity for my 360 virtual tours, let me know. You know what I should do with my cameras, or what content you want to see, let me know. There's the Instagram. There's an Instagram. It's instagram.com/wingwong. It's no, sorry, /vulture54. So it's vulture54 on Instagram. It's vulture54 on Instagram. No, I'm saying there's the email tacoimposters@gmail.com. That's tacoimposters@gmail.com. There's the two Discord servers, and then my two Discord servers, and there's the Patreon, patreon.com/wingwong. Capital W, lowercase ing, capital W, lowercase ONG. Anyway. What was I going to say? Yeah, so What was I gonna say? Yeah. So yeah. So and if you know where to get leather, cheap-ish leather. I thought to myself, you know what? Since my friend, because I want to give it to my friend, right? I'd love to give it to my friend a leather-bound Dad Jesus book. Because Dad Jesus book is basically Hawaiian pigeon for the people, that kind of stuff. Like plenty love for the people, like that weird Hawaiian pigeon language. Anyway, Bible. It's the New Testament, but Bible. And so, it's already wrapped in vinyl, so it's not the worst quality thing. But he said I'd love to have a leather bound version. But he has leather, so and I don't have leather, so if he wants to ever do it, I'll just give it to him. I would pay like $50 for the actual book. Wow, it's crazy. But anyway, so but still, if you know where the get good cheap leather, I'm saying like cheap as in like $30 or less, $30 Canadian or less, plus shipping. Or if you know a store in either Quebec or Canada somewhere that I could go and like get one for cheap, it'd be great. That'd be good. So yeah, I mean, so I'm not done yet. I'm going to add something to the end of this when I'm done, which will report back to whether what the answer to that quarrel that I'm going to question I'm going to ask the photographer at the young adults event. What's your criteria for taking a photo? I'll be back. So okay, so I'm back with a quick addendum to the end of this conversation. At least okay for the person that I talked to. So it wasn't the same person female who usually does it. She was actually doing worship. That's beside the point. The guy who's in charge was taking photos, and I asked him, "What's your criteria for taking a photo?" And he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" And I go, "Criteria? What do you mean criteria?" I was like, "Well, how do you decide to take a photo?" And he's like, "Oh, I look at the people, and I look at the thing, and I look at like what's a good photo." And I'm like, so I thought in my head, I didn't want to say it in front of him to be like, also you pick specific people, which is probably what happens too. Don't get me wrong. I don't say it's like horrible, but definitely like whatever. And then I look at like candid photos, and I go, like I think about it, I'm like, oh, candid photos, got it. It's candid. It's me sitting down, looks stupid. So yeah, I'm not saying it's good or bad per se. I'm just adding my addendum here, so we just got a little loud, but anyway. So yeah, I'm not saying there's a problem with that per se. I'm just saying it's terrible. My mother was like, "You should have a photo of everybody." It's like, yeah, you would think. I was telling my friend that. It's like, you would think that they would have a photo of everybody. You would think, but really, no, they don't. There's definitely people that do not get a photo. But I don't know the criteria. Now I know the criteria. It's all candid. If you're sitting there looking like a bum, sure, you're gonna look like a bum, and then they're gonna go, "That's not a good photo." Whether that's conscious or unconscious, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that's at least that's the person in charge's criteria. Now, how do they choose photos? That's a different story because he also probably makes the choice of what photos to take when it's not him. So, because it's the first time I've seen him as him. Maybe it's second. I don't know. I don't. They didn't keep count completely. Like look at watch it completely. I don't know if they had one at the first one. I feel like they might have, but every subsequent or no, I think every subsequent one, if I remember correctly. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not saying this is the worst thing to do, but I'm just saying that it's one of those like, come on, people. You would think those are easy criteria. It's candid photos. Without saying it that way, it's basically saying I'm not taking a terrible photo. And then he explained what a good photo was. It's like, okay, fair enough. So that was just my little addendum to add on to the end of this. I'm now going to upload this up to um or well actually I'm going to whatever, That's going to be it. So bye. I think that's going to be it for now, guys. So adios, mi amigos.